morning, everyone. Welcome to the shop. Well, we're going to start a new project. We're going to put some hardwood flooring in the house, and we're going to make our own. We're going to make it out of plywood. It's going to be AC exterior plywood. The first part is going to be roughly about maybe 400 square feet, and I'll bring you along and show you the process we're going to use to figure out what color we want and how we're going to do it. So come on along. All right, the first step was to figure out what color we wanted. So I made up these samples. I rounded up all my stain that I had, all the different colors, and this is what I come up with. Made these color samples, took them in to, she picked the color she wanted, and she really liked this color right here. It was 6358 Special Walnut, and I believe it was yeah, here it is, Trip brand. So I go up to the store to get the color to make my samples up, and I look on here. This was tag 10 of 89, so it's a little bit old. It was still good, it made good stain, but the local store doesn't carry this brand. So I took the sample in, and we matched it to this Minwax red chestnut, and I made a sample of that. It's a little browner, but she really liked that, so that was the color we're going to go. So we know what color we want. So now I made my sample boards up. I cut this. This is AC exterior 1/2-inch plywood. This will be the exact stuff we put down, and I ripped it into 6-inch by 18-inch pieces. These are going to be my samples, and I made some short ones, and it'll be an 18 by 18 square with a joint in the middle, so we know how the floor looks. So I got those up, got them all sanded up, got the color, and got my board stained. So that's where I'm at right now, and I thought I'd bring you along and show you how the rest of this is going to go. We're going to finish it with this Helms by Minwax. It's a spar urethane, excellent protection from sunlight, rain, moisture, and temperature change. Sounds like the stuff we need. And I've got a semi-gloss and a satin. We haven't decided what finish we want. We know we don't want a gloss, so we're going to go with those two, and we're going to apply that right now. So I'll spin you around, show you my samples, and we'll put this stuff on. All right, here's our samples all made up. I laid it out so you'd get the kind of the same pattern on how it's going to look on the floor. And I did one assembled and one disassembled. And the reason I did that was to find out whether what it would look like if I laid the floor and then finished it on the floor, or whether I pre-finish each individual piece. And putting the stain on that, there's quite an odor to it, and so I'm thinking, just to keep the smell out of the house, I'll probably wind up pre-finishing everything, and then I'll just go in and lay it, and it'll be done. So we'll go ahead and we'll put our finishes on this. I've got this Helms in a spray can just for ease of use on these samples, but it comes in a gallon, And I can get Minwax stain in a gallon. So that's just the way we're going to go. So this will be the semi-gloss. And I'm going to put that on this one. Shake it up there. I don't know if there's a ball in it or not. It's not rattling yet, so. Let's see here. Just shake it for 10 seconds and then shake it while you're using it. So we'll get it all shook up here. All right, here we go. Clear semi-gloss. Okay, we'll do a little bit over this way. Of course, when you put this on with a roller or a brush, it'll go on a lot thicker. But right now, I'm just going for the color of the sample and the sheen of the finish, so that you know, I got some idea where we're at. You know, it's we're going to do the kitchen, which I figured was about a little under 400 square feet. Kitchen, dining room. We're going to do the hall and 2 bedrooms. So, you know, we're probably looking at 800 square feet of flooring, and I don't want to, you know, get 800 in there and then find out that it's wrong. Once it's down and stained and colored, it'd be a whole lot harder to change it, you know, than here. So we'll go ahead and use these little blocks here just to lift this up so I can get underneath it to move them. This here is the clear satin. We'll go ahead and get that on there. See, now this one had a ball in it. I never did get the ball to break loose in this one. So hopefully it's mixed up. Maybe where this is the satin, there's some stuff in there that needs to be mixed up a little better. So. All right, here we go. Well, it sure goes on easy. That's all there is to it. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that doesn't have a ball in it. Not much odor to it, to the finish. Not near as bad as the stain. So that might be something to consider too. Of course, if you're brushing it on or rolling it on, you know, in a bigger area, it might be a little bit tougher. So yeah, that's might take 2 coats. So I'll read up here, see how long it could be between coats. All right, so there we go. Bring you back when we get them finished. All right, here's the samples all finished. This is the semi-gloss, and these 2 are satin. And there's not much of a difference. You can see this here's just a tiny bit shinier, but the satin's what we're going to go with. And then I made out this 3rd sample for the width of the board. This is 8 inches. So these here were sanded with 80 grit, and then had 3 coats of poly put on it. And they're okay, kind of rough. This one, I went, I think, I did 3 coats also on this one, but between the 2nd and 3rd coat, I lightly sanded it with 220. And this one is sanded up from, I started at 80, went 120, 180, 220. Then I did 2 coats I did 1 coat of stain. I let the stain set on for 1 minute, and then just wiped it off, let that dry overnight, come back out, did 2 coats of poly on it, the satin, and then let that dry overnight, and then I came out the next day, did the light sanding, and then the last coat of poly. And it's nice. It's not so slick that if you was in socks you'd wind up on your head, but it's smooth enough that it feels good. And I pre-stained all the pieces and pre-finished all the pieces and then assembled it. And that's the way I'm going to do it. So I don't have a bunch of stink in the house from the stain and the finish on it. So we'll get that cut down. We're going to go with this 8-inch. The 6-inch, maybe in the bathroom where it's a smaller area, we could go with the 6-inch. But for right now, we're going to do the kitchen and dining room, and we like the 8-inch. So we're gonna go with that. And so now all I got to do is rip my wood down. I went over to the to Lowe's, picked up some really nice AC sanded on one side plywood, 1/2 inch. Looked really good. I got 10 sheets, and I checked them going on the truck, and there wasn't a patch anywhere on them. So this stuff here had patches. I kind of cut around it so there wouldn't be any of them football patches, or whatever you want to call them, plugs. Little Dutchman looking things. I didn't want that on the floor. But I think this is going to be okay. I'm using little brads, and you can just see the brad deal, but I got them really set deep. I think if I don't set them quite so deep, that it'll look, you won't even see them with the little brown head on them. So, all right, there's that. So we'll get you set up and start cut these sheets down to 8 inch. So come along.